really do believe, and I know a lot of people want to argue with me, but I really do believe that the not having mothers staying home with their kids and women focused on careers instead of being home with their kids has actually led to a lot of the problems we have in our society. That said, I also understand why some women have to work so they can't be home with their kids. I also understand why some women don't feel safe to not work, because there are a lot of men in society that are not stepping up and being, you know, trustworthy protectors and providers of their family. You know, so I'm not sitting here and saying, like, you know, how dare women have careers and not stay home with their kids. I understand that there's bigger conversations to be had here, but I think mothers not being home full-time with their kids is leading to a lot of negative behaviors. I think when you started seeing more latchkey kids, you saw an increase in children's drug use, you saw an increase in teen pregnancies because there weren't parents home with the kids. The obesity rate skyrocketed because a lot of women were not cooking home-cooked meals. You know, we saw an increase in convenience foods that were full of a lot of chemicals and things like that. Like, there are a lot of negative effects to women going out in the workforce and not being home with the children and not having a parent home with the children. I also understand that we are in a society where sometimes that's unavoidable. It just is something that has to happen because there's a lot of situations where women don't feel safe to not have a career, because you do have a lot of men that consider it their money, that are not valuing any role that doesn't specifically have a paycheck attached to it, which I think goes to a bigger issue in society. There's a lot of men that just aren't showing up as protectors and providers of their family, that aren't working. A lot of men are abandoning their families. Some women just don't have a man in the household, so they don't have a choice. They have to become the provider in their household. You know, I mean, I think there's a lot of issues, but I think to not talk about some of these issues and the way that women not being with the children and actually raising children is negatively affecting the children, I think avoiding that conversation is a detriment to society. But also, you know, understanding that there's a lot more to the conversation and to why women have to work. It's not just feminism bad.